Hey, everybody, we're here for the new episode of Five for Talking. Today, we're going to give you a little bit of stuff, mostly around the Leafs. I won't consider this a Leafs episode, but you're going to get some Leafs, mostly some get maybe. Anyways, I'm here with Caps. He likes to talk hockey. That's why he's here. He's the captain of the show. So I guess before we go into the Leafs, I got a couple things. First, Alex Ovechkin's 786th goal. It makes him the highest scoring player ever with a single team. So the other four people were Joe Sakic, Mario Lemieux, Gordie, Howe, and Steve Yzerman with Detroit Red Wings. So, I mean, that's a big feat, actually.
Huge feat.
It might have slipped under a few people's radars, but I think that's a really important one.
I would dare say that this one is going to be unbreakable.
Yeah.
The record is going to be unbreakable.
Well, it will be because Gretzky's record might be a daunting task, but it's between four teams. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where this is all with one team. And like people probably would have said Gordie Howe's original record was going to be unbeatable. So.
Yeah. And he's probably going to I'm odds are he's going to stick with Washington throughout the duration of his career. It's going to be an unbreakable record. He's going to go for Gretzky's record while still playing with Washington, I dare say. So age has not slowed him down. He's still looking pretty good. It should be interesting. Now, is he going to break the record this year? Gretzky's record? No.
He probably had, to be honest with you, at the pace
another
he's scoring
2 seasons?
Yeah, this season and another 2 seasons, probably. Oh, by the way, this was 787 to beat the record. 786 was the tie. I was incorrect on that. But yeah, it's quite amazing. I feel like you could say the same about a lot of sports, but you overlook things in the moment. Like the fact that we watched the entire, sure, we saw Mario Lemieux and Yager and stuff, but we watched the entirety of Crosby and Ovechkin and now Connor McDavid and whatever Austin Matthews is going to become. And I think it's really special. And sometimes people just need to be appreciative that you're witnessing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yep. Can't say much of that.
All right. So that segues into another thing. And Connor McDavid has 24 points in 11 games. There's the next closest person to him is Leon Draisaitl at 22, and I'll take away from him in a second. But is anyone even in a class with Connor McDavid?
No,
not even remotely close.
He is he is the best player in the NHL today, and that's pretty much it's pretty much been that for the last maybe 4 years maybe. He's the best player not to win a Stanley Cup. No, he will go down as one of the best when he retires. He's just on another level. And yeah, man, I mean, anytime that you doubt him, he just goes into a different gear. You recall when during the pandemic, when the shortened season, all the Canadian teams were in one division.
Yeah,
he got 100 points in 50 games.
Well, he's averaging over 2 points a game right now.
Yeah, it's he is. He's just on another level. He's special. There you go.
Yeah, I agree. And you can, like I said, Leon Draisaitl is the next closest to him. He has 22 points right now. But
it's funny because they don't really play on the same line.
And this is where I wanted to go with this. I don't want to take away from Leon Draisaitl because I think he's definitely in that next tier of players. But when you really break it down, he has 5 power play goals right now, and I think 7 assists. Draisaitl
bit of a late bloomer, but
They're all
yeah.
coming from Crosby. I mean, from Crosby, from McDavid.
Mhm.
Like all of his goals are McDavid assisted on the power play, and all of his assists are for McDavid goals on the power play. So, I mean, without McDavid, I don't think Leon Draisaitl remotely puts up as much points as
Yeah.
he has. It's
Yeah.
not to take away from him. I'm just to add to like the skill level of Crosby. I keep saying Crosby, McDavid. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm really interested to see if when Connor Bedard comes in next year, if he's going to live up to that, because his junior career is McDavid-esque so far.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're pretty deep up front. They've put together a pretty decent team. However, they've had their struggles as of late. Seems as though a former Leaf has not been
Not the
playing
answer.
well. I mean, I hope he turns around. I hope he does turn around. I mean, he played well while he was here. Hyman is playing great for him. Vander Kane has really turned his career around and is playing well with them. It's funny because last year he played with McDavid, and this year he's playing with Draisaitl primarily. But yeah, I didn't think. You know, it's funny because we did the rankings the beginning of the year. We had them high, and then I thought about it afterwards. They don't really have a good defensive core. Like their defensive pairings are, on paper, they don't look that great, but you know, sometimes they're able to play great with that defense. Yeah, man, McDavid will go down as one of the best when he retires, and he'll be up there. He'll be top 5.
Yeah,
sure.
I think goals aside, because I don't think he'll ever do what Alex Ovechkin is doing. Just points wise, he's going to pass Crosby and Ovechkin. So they're like the next two marks, right? And arguably Malkin. But he's going to pass all three of them.
He has, but he just has this ability to put that team on his back and
which
change the game.
It's surprising. So I guess we could stay with them for a second. And Campbell's win-loss record is deceiving. He's 5-2, I believe, but his goals against average and his save percentage is dog poo.
Pretty dog poo.
We don't want to do too many swears out here, but yeah, Edmonton it doesn't have a terrible record. They're 7-5-0. But it's like McDavid can do as much as McDavid is doing, and it doesn't seem to help them win games.
Yeah, I mean, Campbell's definitely went through some bad luck as of late. I mean, it's so funny because I think it was last night's game where he should have made an easy save, but the puck went through his glove. Thought it was pretty funny, but it pretty much is a reflection of how his year is going right now. So, you know, it's still easy to turn
absolutely
around.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he is a good goalie, right?
He is. He puts a lot of emotions, a lot of effort into his game, and
they're a similar team to the Leafs, which it's you can argue the point too that, like I said it before, I think you even agreed with me before the season started, that whether you agree with that, with Murray being Murray or not, or Samsonov being Samsonov or not, trading Campbell wasn't like, and getting the two goalies we got wasn't a win or loss scenario, because they were equal. Like the only factor was Murray was going to get injured, and he did, and Samsonov unluckily got injured. But I mean, it wasn't like, if we had Campbell, I don't think we'd be in any better of a situation right now, and it's showing in Edmonton that having Campbell is not really changing anything for them.
But I think you would also agree, like Toronto wanted to keep Campbell. I think Toronto did want to keep Campo if he was willing to sign for a.
And I agree. And we took Murray's contract, which yes, it's big, but Campbell was not worth that money. I'm sorry. Yes, he's a good goalie. He's one of the top. He's in the top half of the NHL for goalies, but he's not that guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll get you to the playoffs. Maybe he'll even help you get to a cup, but it's not going to be because of him. Like, he's not Vasilevsky. He's not going to carry your team on his back.
Definitely not Vasilevsky.
The Leafs just had bad luck, I think. If we had both goalies healthy, I think I don't know if we'd be in a better situation, but it would be the same thing as if we had Campbell in my eyes.
Well, I would dare say we would definitely be in a better situation if we had enough cap space.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but
okay, well, go right into Leafs. We might as well go right into Leafs.
Well, before we go into Leafs, I mean, it seems as though Hellebuck has really turned it around as well. He's having a really good season.
Hellebuck is a top 3 goalie for me.
Oh, yeah.
Vasilevsky, him, and Shesterkin right now are the top 3. I guess you could make the argument for Price based on like skill, but like he hasn't played, so we can't say that.
Can't. Yeah, I agree.
But Hellebuck has always been up there for me. He's always been a guy that no matter how bad the team was, he always played good. That's the kind of guy the Leafs need.
They can't afford him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure they would love to have him on the team.
You're gonna hit even more struggles because I'm telling you right now, since we're already kind of segueing into Leafs.
Yep. Let's do it.
The Matthews contract that he's gonna get is gonna take up all of that extra cap that the NHL is giving us. So we're not gonna be out of this. We're not gonna be out of it yet.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, we're gonna go up $4 million next year. I think in a few years' time we're gonna go up $10 million. But Matthews is definitely gonna eat
3
up
of that $4 million is gonna go to Matthews.
But I would have to say that when Tavares' contract is up and he decides like he wants to like keep going with the Leafs, I would have to think that
he's going to go
whoever the GM is that time, there is no way they're going to offer him the same amount of money that he's getting right now.
No,
it would have to be sliced in half.
The expectation is that he's going to take a Joe Thornton or Jason Spezza contract.
Yeah, I would give him like half of what he's making right now.
Wouldn't.
Like I'm just saying,
not 38-year-old John Tavares is not getting that.
Yeah, but like that does free up a lot of money because I'm going to think if Matthews still wants to stay.
Well, what do they have left on the contracts? Matthews is what, 2 years?
Matthews and Nylander are expiring in 2 years, so I'm going to assume Nylander's going to want a lot of money.
Nylander's going to get traded.
Yeah, I'm thinking
even though he's performing really well this year, but that's the option. You don't really have any other options.
Marner and Tavares are going to expire both at the same time.
Which is the year after that?
I would say 2 years after that, I think.
Either way, it's like that is what it is. We already know the cap situation is going to be a lot worse. I don't want to speculate until we get there. We freed up cap, right? And then we used that cap immediately, but like it was necessary to, I guess, to fill the goalie gap because we can't play with only one goalie, and we only had one goalie on an NHL contract, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know this guy's name. Sorry, Keith Petrozelli. He is 6-0 this year on the Marlies. So, I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing to take a shot with him. And you need a guy to play. We don't know how long Samsonov might be out for.
Yeah, we don't even know how long Matt Murray's going to be out for.
And it's like...
And Joseph Woes is still out.
The Leafs team is good enough to win regardless of who's in net. They just need to stay focused. And they need to play defense. In the last 2 games, so tonight against Carolina and against...
Wow, they played well.
And who did they play last night? Boston,
and then Philly on Wednesday, which kind of started their winning.
Well, Philly is having a really good year, but Philly's team on paper is the worst team in the NHL, maybe barring Phoenix or Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, like Carter Hart wasn't playing that night, and they were missing a lot of guys. So, and they came off of a back-to-back. I mean, Leafs had to win that game.
Yeah, I agree, but their defense looked good against Boston and against Carolina. They showed real flashes of like we're a team, and Giordano has been great. But the thing for me is when Giordano is playing the best out of all your defensemen, and he's as old as he is, that something's wrong. Like,
yeah,
I know I hate all the time on this, but like Steve Dangle has made me feel like it's okay. Like Justin Hall sucks. Like he really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Liljegren coming back last night kind of gave him a bit of a boost.
But that's not the answer.
It's
Liljegren is
not
not
the
the
answer.
answer.
It's not the answer, but it's still depth. But I honestly thought that, with Liljegren coming in, I didn't think that Howe was going to still play. But if Muzzin ever does come back, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but who do you take out? Who comes out? Who when Muzzin comes in?
Well,
You know what I mean?
depending on if you're going to keep your honest right-left defenseman, it's got to be Hall.
Yeah, but the problem is that, knowing Keefe, I feel like Sandin is the odd man out.
And it's like, you know what? That guy, I don't care how good the Leafs end up this year. I'm sorry. I know like we argue about this all the time, but Sheldon Keefe's got to go. He's made nothing but bad coaching decisions this season. And that Mitch Marner situation against Anaheim, it just proves all of it. He had a crybaby fit. He walked off the bench into the locker room. And like, not only did Nick Kipriel say it, not only did like every person say it, Steve Dangle said it. They were talking about it on Sportsnet. If you're a coach, you never let that guy touch the ice again. You never walk away from your team's bench unless there's an emergency. You went into the thing and you had a crybaby moment, and then they played him in overtime and they lost the game. And they blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, if you're going to bench a guy, bench a guy. I mean, you want him to go to the back and have a little temper tantrum. I don't care, go. But if you have your mind set that you're going to bench the guy, bench him. Don't just half-ass it. I mean, bench him for one shift and then let him go back on.
He made the right call. In that situation, any coach in the NHL, that guy's getting benched. Doesn't matter if it's Sidney Crosby, anyone, you're going to get benched for that. The fact that you left him out for all that time and then overtime starts and you put him back out on the ice, like, you don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't agree with it, but
that's like just a small dose of like the weird mistakes that he's been making. He's been putting out weird lines that cause goals and like penalty kills where they're giving up shorthanded opportunities. Where like just play the lines, stop doing dumb things.
But I question some of the people that he benches and some of the people that he sits out and some of the people that he plays. Tonight he did a good job. He saw that nothing was happening.
Yeah,
and he switched up the lines. I mean, like, he did a good job there, but
and I do know how you feel about mid-game line switching, so that's saying a lot that you felt good about that.
Yeah. But he switched up the first two lines, which that's you don't see that very often. But damn, man, like the Abe I can't remember what's his name, Abe Kubal.
Yeah.
I don't. It kind of frustrates me because the guy gets claimed off of waivers because somebody put an article out saying that his physical play is not fit for the Leafs. That's exactly what the Leafs need, like that type of physical play.
I did see that a few times, weird articles about that, and it's like, doesn't make any sense. But then look how fast he got snagged off waivers.
Yeah, because he's a good depth player.
He's exactly what Washington wants.
Yeah. Like, well, if Washington wants him, then I don't understand why the Leafs have a problem giving him away.
I think the Leafs would rather have Aston Reese at his minimum contract than Kubal at whatever they were paying him. Because I think he was getting a little bit over $1 million. Wasn't he? Like, Yarncroc hasn't been the greatest. Yarncroc hasn't been the greatest. He's been fine.
He scored tonight, though. But, you're right. He hasn't been the greatest.
Kerfoot has been, like, absent all season.
Kerfoot's been making some questionable plays. He made some questionable plays tonight. But I think that the one that just frustrates me the most, and I know Bargo has a big problem with it, is Engvall. Like, what the hell, man?
And you know what sucks about it? Because we were so high on Engvall for a while, and then all of a sudden this happened, and now Bargo looks like the smart guy.
Well, I mean, the guy's getting paid over $2 million, and he's 6'5", and he plays like he's 5'7", and he does the same thing all the time. He he skates around. He reminds me of Hyman a little bit, but he skates around the net, goes to the point, and then just risks it. Like it's it just
and the thing is, you're not that guy. That's for Austin Matthews to do, not for you to do.
like
I don't know. You're really I mean, you could try to move him. I'm sure a team would take that salary, but to me, you're the biggest option you have right now is finding a lower tier team that's not going to make the playoffs, even though it's still early, that has pieces that they're looking to move, ship them Kerfoot and Hall, and bring in the best possible defenseman you can to fill that cap space, and then let Nick Robertson have a permanent spot on the team. Because I don't know what else.
He's not going to develop if you only play the guy 6 minutes a game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He needs time.
Yeah.
But on top of that, right now he's not costing us anything, and you can ship off $6 million with Hall and Kerfoot package, right? You could bring in a good defenseman, like a really good defenseman from one of those teams.
Yeah, I believe that Dubas will do something near the trade deadline. He'll bring in some depth pieces.
And I don't want it to be Nylander, because Nylander and Tavares are playing really well together.
I still got a problem with Nylander's back checking.
I don't care if they're going to keep putting up goals.
If you're going to play the majority of the time in the opposition zone, in the O zone, then by all means, I don't care. But you still need your forwards to back check.
Well, no one else is doing it either. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Camp is still the best Leaf on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much. I don't know what else you got.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm just kind of. They're on a roll right now, and it's too. We're just freaking out because this is what we do. This is what the show is for. But like, realistically, there's nothing to be worried about. The season's so early. It's not like the Leafs are 0-10. They're still right on the cusp of being a top team in the East. Like they're not now with this win. What are they, 7-4? It's not like they're like days behind.
Correct. But I think the thing that frustrates us the most is that we know what to expect from them.
Yeah.
And just sometimes we don't get it. Okay. And that bugs us the most. Especially when they're playing against crappier teams.
You beat the best team in the league, Philadelphia. You beat the second best team in the league, Boston. You beat the third best team in the league, Carolina. I don't know. They're all at the top. I'm just saying that. But you beat 3 of the top 6-7 teams in the NHL in a row. Well, you beat them in a fashionable manner, but then you got smoked by LA, and then you got smoked by Anaheim that you blew a 3-1 lead against. And that's the kind of stuff that bothers me in my head. It's like you can go on a 7-game winning streak against the best teams in the league and then face Arizona and lose. And you did. You literally did.
Yeah, you lost Arizona, you lost to San Jose, and you lost to Montreal. 3 of the worst teams in the league at that time. And then you go ahead and beat 3 of the best teams in the league in the last 3 games. If they beat Vegas on Tuesday, I mean, good on them, but then it just bugs me even more.
Because 7-4-2. That's right. Yeah, they lost to San Jose, LA, Anaheim, Arizona, Montreal.
No.
And I can't remember what the other loss was.
So they got Vegas coming up, which is the best team in the league right now.
Can we do that in air quotes? The best team in the league. Yeah, because they're not. But Jack Eichel's on fire.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Phil the Thrill is the main.
Oh, baby. He's just sucking down hot dogs on the bench.
He lost a lot of weight, man. He got into shape.
Did you see what they gave him for his birthday? They gave him a hot dog cake. I think we talked about that.
So funny.
Yeah. And Jack Eichel was in the background laughing the whole time.
Wow.
But it's like,
okay.
He knows how to play. He knows how to do his job.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, like, good on the goalie Thompson for Vegas. Good on him.
But you know what? This is reminiscent of the year when I don't remember who the goalie was specifically. There was Fleury got injured, and I don't remember if it was Leonard at that time. But then Malcolm Subban came up and did amazing for them and carried them all the way to the playoffs. And then I think it was the very first season. And this is like that. All their top goalies are out. They're banking on this guy. And you know what? Maybe that happens for the Leafs. That guy's on a 6-game winning streak for the Marlies. Who knows? Maybe he comes in and plays well. Shalgren looked pretty good today. So You don't know. But Samsonov, like, okay, listen, I don't want to dog him, but he's been pretty good. Like,
He
not
has been pretty
amazing,
good.
but he's been pretty good.
Yep.
It's mostly the Leafs' crappy defense that lets it down, and the giveaways on the offensive end.
Yep.
There was a few games where it looked like we had 12 Jake Gardners on offense. Like, our forwards were just giving the puck to whoever wanted it.
Yep.
And, you know?
Yep. With the exception of tonight. Tonight they played well. I have to say they played Carolina type hockey, which is kind of
and
funny.
Carolina's a freaking good team, man.
They are built like a machine. What a team. What a team.
And I said this before. That's if you look at the roster comparables, right? Like Edmonton is kind of there, the Leafs, Carolina, even the Rangers kind of. Well, now the Rangers got a bit grittier, but they're built in a similar fashion of the way that they have their lineups. They're mostly quick, fast guys that can score, and with the same type of defensemen that are mostly like non-physical but decent defensive. But Carolina is like the outline of how to do it properly. Like that's the team that the Leafs wish they had.
And it's funny you brought that up because Carolina and New York, they took their time building these teams. You know what I mean? And I guess there isn't a lot of pressure on them as opposed to
maybe the Rangers a bit, but Carolina for sure. There's no pressure at all. They're just cruising around.
Yeah, and all they did is just add depth players here and there. Over here, it's a little different. I mean, you know, if things are going bad, which they did in the last week, people want changes like right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. If you're playing in Boston or Montreal, you're living in that environment as well.
Yep.
You know, maybe in Philadelphia. It's mostly the East Coast where those kind of things, the Northeast, where they're like very hard on their teams. But like Detroit's been really accepting of their rebuild, and they're doing pretty decent with that rebuild. And you know, like I don't even like Detroit, and I'm going to be honest, I think they're doing a really good job.
Oh, 3 years max. These guys are going to be great again.
Yeah, you know what? And I call the same thing. If it's not next year, it's the year after for Montreal and Ottawa.
I would dare say throw in Buffalo and Ottawa in there too.
Yeah, I did say Ottawa. Okay,
did you? Sorry,
yeah, Montreal and Ottawa. But yeah, throw Buffalo in there. I agree.
My fault. Sorry.
But it's like there's this new process in the NHL that the Leafs kind of started of this like 3-year process. You draft one guy really high, you draft a couple other smart picks like your Marners and whatever that people didn't think were going to be the best, and then you build a team around it. You get one big signing, and that's it. You're good to go.
Yeah, throw Jersey in there too.
I don't know. Jersey's rebuild has been like 5 years now.
Yeah, I know, but they're actually playing pretty good right now.
But they should, man. With the amount they have, I think. I don't want to be for sure, but they have 2 for sure. I think they have 3 first overall picks.
Wow.
Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and maybe it was just those 2 actually. But if you look at them in Buffalo, like we talked about this on one episode, in the last 9 years, Buffalo and New Jersey have had like 12 picks each in the top 15. So it's like, you know, I know drafting is like you're playing the lottery, but at the same time, you got to do it eventually. Anyways, I don't have anything else. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think, and I will see you next time.